Hello beaders, welcome to Beachside Bead Boutique. My name is Jerry. Today we are creating a fairy tale romance necklace with asymmetrical beads, cascading chains, and a little bit of creative chaos. So grab your fairy tale romance beads, your tools, and let's get beading. Okay beaders, so the tools that you're going to need to create this chaotic fairy tale boho necklace are: I have 0.5 millimeter waxed cord. I do have chain that I'm going to use, and this is from the companion bundle. I have a couple of bead stoppers on hand. The pendant that I'm going to use is the rhodonite pendant that came in the companion bundle. I do have this toggle clasp that I purchased separately from Bead Box Bargains. I have this chain that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. And then I have these thick gauge jump rings that I got from Hobby Lobby. And then also the jump rings that came in the companion bundle. And some head pins in that same color. You will need dotting tweezers and needle nose pliers, flush cutters. I have round nose pliers and bent nose pliers. And then also a ruler and a pair of scissors. And I think that is about it as far as the tools go. And basically all the items that I'm going to use are from the companion bundle as far as the beads go. So I'm using a lot of different beads from the companion bundle, so I'll go over those as I string. But from the main bundle, I am going to use one of the flower connector clasp. I'm using one of these flower beads. And then also the bead caps that came in the main bundle. So everything else, like I said, will be from the companion bundle. So I'm using several beads. Okay, so let me go ahead and get everything cleaned up and I will be right back. Okay, I'm starting with my wax cord. So this color here, and I'm cutting a 30-inch piece. Now go ahead and make your cords even at the top. And then I'm going to take one of my large jump rings, the thick gauge, and I'm going to pull the cord through this jump ring. So I'm just going to make a little loop like that, pull it through the jump ring like that, and then take the end. Now make sure it's even. And pull it through that loop so we can create a knot. Pull that down to the jump ring. Like that. Pull it tight. And separate your cords and pull it again. Okay, and go ahead and set this to the side for right now. And we are going to take two more of these thick gauge jump rings and attach them together. Close that. And yes, these are very thick, but that's very good. And I would rather it be thick than to be thin and come apart. Okay, so now I'm going to take my toggle clasp, which I'm taking just the ring for now, attach that to that jump ring, and then close this. So we have that. And then the bar, we're going to go ahead and attach, but we're not attaching that to this. We're going to attach the jump rings to the bar. So I'm attaching 3 of the large jump rings together. And then take 2 small jump rings. These are the jump rings that came in the companion bundle. Of course, you can use whatever jump rings you prefer, but this is going to be for the toggle for the bar. So you need to make sure that you have jump rings that are smaller, because if it's too big, then the bar is not going to move into the ring. So attach 2 jump rings to the bar. Then I'm going to attach this top jump ring here to the end of my thicker jump rings. And then close that. So we have this. Okay. And then this we could just set to the side for now. Now we are going to go ahead and take our pendant. And let me see, I'm going to take my tweezers and just bend this a little bit to open it up. Okay, I guess whatever way it works. And then close that back. Make sure it is good and closed so you don't lose anything. Okay. So we have that. And then now we are going to make a couple of charms to dangle on the side of this. So we're going to wire wrap a few charm dangles. So I'm just going to take a head pin, and to that I'm going to add just whichever beads I prefer. So just, you know, randomly, there's nothing specific about this. Whatever bead you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and use 2 of these crystals. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers right to just slightly above the top bead, but you do want a little bit of space because that's where your wire is going to go when as you wrap it. Okay, so leave a little bit of space and then bend the wire toward me. And then I'm going to bend that back around the top. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers out and reposition the pliers to the bottom ring. So now that loop that we're forming is on the bottom. And then I'm going to take the wire and cross it over where we're going to make the loop. Straighten it out. And then just wrap. That. Straighten your loop out, and that's all. And if you guys know me, I'm not looking for a neat wrap. I don't do things particularly neat. I just kind of wrap. I like a messy, boho, shabby look. So that's how I do it. I don't have a specific number of wraps that I do each bead. I mean, it's just however it goes, that's how I do it. I like things random and not in a particular order or anything like that. Like I said, this is a chaotic Fairytale boho necklace. So, but it is going to be beautiful at the end. I promise you. It's not going to look like a mess. Okay. And then, you know, squeeze your end down as best as you can so there are no sharp edges. And that's all. So we made 1 charm. And then I'm going to use the, let's see, what are these? These are the strawberry quartz English cut. So I'm going to use one of these for a charm as well. So now I'm going to take some of my smaller jump rings and attach these to our ring as well. And this is how you open and close a jump ring. You want to go up and down. You never want to go out like that because that will ruin the jump ring. So I'm just going to attach my beads to this ring on the side of our charm. Make sure your jump rings are closed. Like that. All right, and this is what we have. Okay, so I went ahead and cut a piece of chain. So this is the thin chain that came in the companion bundle. I cut a piece 5.5 inches long. Like that. And then I attached some bead dangles to it. So I made the charms just like we just did with to attach to the ring here. So I made some charms using the rhodonite heshy. I used some of these crystals, some of the autumn jasper. I used one of the rhyolite and one of these little crystals here, and just a few other beads. So whichever beads you choose. I mean, it's not really a, specific kind. So, but that's what I did. And I attached them to the chain. And I went ahead and did that because this chain, like I said, is just very thin and it's very hard to see. So I did that off camera so I can really, get this close up and focus on what I was doing. So, but that's what I did. So cut the chain at 5.5 inches long. And then I folded it in almost half. I mean, it's not quite half. One side is a little bit longer, and attached a jump ring to the top here. So we have that. So we have 3 little dangles on one side and one at the bottom of the other. And I'm going to attach this to my ring. So I'm going to put this next to the pendant, which it doesn't really matter how you put your chain, I suppose. Make sure this is closed. Okay, so this is what we have. This is our little dangle here. This is our centerpiece. Really like it. Now we're going to go ahead and start stringing our beads. So we are going to string some on both cords, and then also we are going to make a few knots. Okay, so first I'm going to separate my cord, and I'm going to use some of my smaller beads. So I'm going to start with, make sure your cord is in a point. Since this is wax cord, you can form your tip into a point, and you may need to cut it at an angle to get your beads on easier. And I'm going to go ahead and start stringing, and then I will come back and tell you which beads I put on for your reference. Okay, let's see where we're at to see if this is about even. And one more to this side. I'll add a rhodonite. Okay, so this is what we have so far. So on this side I have 3 autumn jasper, 3 rhodonite, 2 autumn jasper, 3 of the crystal bicone in cracked green, 3 autumn jasper, and 1 rhodonite. And on this side I have 2 rhodonite, 3 autumn jasper, 2 of the crystal triangle twist, 2 of the green crystals, and 3 rhodonites. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and put our cords together. Now make sure it's even at the top. So if you need to cut one, cut them together and then form a point. And then I'm going to take one of my strawberry cords, English cut, put this on both cords. Make sure you have both cords as you're pulling it. Pull the bead down to our sections here. So like that. I'm going to go ahead and form a knot here on top of these beads, and I did forget, so I'm going to go ahead and put the cord on my 2 fingers, wrap it around, cross over the cord, and then take the cord through. Now I'm going to take my knotting tweezers and place my tweezers inside the loop. So I'm taking my tweezers inside the loop, grabbing both cords on top of the beads and pulling the knot down like that. Go ahead and pull the knot with your tweezers, pull it down. There you go. So we have that. And now I'm going to go ahead and put my bead back on top of that knot, pull it down. And then I'm going to put my cords together again at the top and take my flower bead and put both cords through that. Take that down to our bead. And now I'm going to take a bead cap. I'm going to use one of my, let's see, this is the Crackle Glass Round Bead Strawberry Red. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of these. Actually, I'm going to take a couple of these, I think. Take a couple of these and take a bead cap. Put your bead cap on both cords. I go ahead and take one of my strawberry beads and feed it through both cords. And take it down on top of the bead cap. Make sure everything is pulled down nice and tight. And then I'm going to place another bead cap on top of that. And then I'm going to place 2 more strawberry beads on top of this without a bead cap. So going through both cords. And then pull that down. And go ahead and form a knot. So I'm taking the cord around my fingers, crossing over, pull my fingers out, bring the cords through. And now I'm taking my tweezers right through the loop and right on top of the bead. So I have both cords and then pulling that down. And take your tweezers and pull that knot down really well. And you can go ahead and separate your cords and pull the knot one more time. Okay. So this is what we have. Very pretty. And next I'm going to put on one spacer bead, and that's going to be on both cords. And then I'm going to separate my cords for the next section. I did grab a wet wipe too, and that's to wipe my hands every so often from touching this cord, because it does get sticky. And if your hands are sticky as you're going to string, and if the bead goes through but then your hands are sticky, it's going to stick to the cord and then pull the cord out from the bead that you just struggle to, put through. So I figured I was just going to try that and see if that worked. And it seems to be working better. So just to suggest that to you may need a wet wipe or a wet rag or something as you're using the wax cord. Okay, so this is our next section here. That's the whole thing. Okay, so our next section, I put 2 of the 8mm rhyolites, 1 bead cap, 2 of the pink, the rhodonite heshy, 2 of the green crystals, 1 of the rhodonite coins, 1 spacer, 2 of the faceted crystals. This is the twist, crystal twist. 3 of the autumn jasper, a bead cap, a strawberry faceted, a bead cap, and then 2 of the crystal A beads. And then on this side, I put 2 of the green crystals, 3 of the rhodonite, 3 of the autumn jasper, 1 bead cap, 1 rhodonite coin, 1 bead cap, 3 of the Unikite nuggets, and that's from the main bundle, 1 coin bead, 1 spacer, a bead cap, a rhyolite, and a bead cap. Okay, so that was the next section, and I'm going to go ahead and form a knot at the top of these. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put both cords together. Put on a spacer. Go ahead and cut your cords so they're even. That'll make it a lot easier. So I'm going to put 3 of my strawberry glass beads, and I'm putting these through both cords. Okay, so these are the last beads that we're going to use in this section. So this side is done. Yes, we have 2 different sides. So we can go ahead and form a knot right here. Pull it down tight and separate your cords. I'm going to go ahead and form one more knot. Placing my tweezers right on top of the knot that we just formed. That way that'll land right on top of that. Okay. Now we are going to attach a jump ring. So this is the large jump ring. So we're going to put the jump ring through both cords, and we're going to tie this. So you're going to form your knot like we've been doing. Now make sure your jump ring is inside the loop. So the loop that we're forming, as the knot ties, the jump ring is going to be inside. And then go ahead and pull this down right on top of those knots. Pull it down. Separate your cords. Make sure your jump ring is fully closed. Okay, and to keep this knot secure, I am going to take a little bit of my brush on glue and brush it right on top of this knot, because we definitely don't want this knot to come apart, because that's what's holding the jump ring on, and then we're going to attach our chain to that. So I'm going to rub glue on both of these knots here, just to make sure everything is double secure. Okay, so this is the pattern. and down to our pendant and our charms and our chain. Okay, so that's this portion. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and take my chain that I purchased from Hobby Lobby and double it up. So I'm just going to put both ends together on one jump ring. And I'm going to attach this jump ring that the chain is on and connect that to the jump ring that we tied to our beaded section. And then go ahead and close that. And we're going to do something with this in a little bit. So we'll just go ahead and do what we got to do here first. Okay, so this is the other half of the necklace. And this is actually, this part right here is going to go around the neck. So this is going to be on one side, and then this is going to go around the neck and down to the other side. Okay, that's my vision anyway, so we're going to see how this pans out. I mean, I did kind of design a prototype, so I'm going to take a smaller jump ring and then measure 12 inches. So from the top of my chain down, and then place my smaller jump ring here. So it's going to go through both chains, and then close this up, and then attach my toggle bar to that. And that's because my toggle bar jump ring is very thick, so it wasn't going to go through both of those chains. So attach this to that jump ring, close this up, and then this one is not all the way closed, so we're going to close that. Okay, so now we have our toggle bar attached to our chain. So I have the smaller jump ring and then 3 large jump rings and 2 smaller jump rings. We can now attach our toggle bar to our toggle clasp. Like that. And now we have a necklace. Okay, but we're not done yet. Okay, so I just wanted to go ahead and get some of the items out of the way so you guys could see how it looks so far. We're not done, but I just wanted you to see this better. So we have our pendant area here with our toggle clasp, and then our beaded portion, and then the chain, see, comes all the way around the neck and then down the opposite side. Okay, and then of course our toggle clasp can open and close just like that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put some dangles on this side now with our chain. So I'm just going to go ahead and make some dangles just the same way that we did before. Let me go ahead and bring my mat back. I know I got a lot of chaos here. And again, I'm just going to trust the process here. So I'm not grabbing any particular bead. So just whatever bead looks right and feels right, I'm just going to trust my instincts. And I'm going to go ahead and make some more charms and attach them to my chain. And I will be right back to show you guys the finished product. Okay, beaders, so I finished putting my charm dangles on my chain. So I have 5 on the inside chain and 9 on the outside chain. And of course, when you wear it around your neck, it's all just gonna come together and blend. And I will show you a picture at the very end of this video so you can see exactly how the necklace looks around my neck and how it falls, how long it is and all that, so you can get a better idea. So I really like this. I think that looks really good. So now all we have to do here is I'm going to add this, I think, at the bottom of this chain. See, that's just the end of our chain here, so I figure I might as well just leave that just kind of dangling at the bottom. I mean, if it doesn't look good, then, we can cut it off. And then I am going to go ahead and put a little dangle at the bottom of this one. Okay, guys, well, here is the Chaotic Fairytale Boho necklace. I really, really like how this came out. I like the bead dangles on the side, and I like the asymmetry of it. The beaded section, so from here to here, measures 8¼ inch. And the chain section, so from this jump ring down to the top jump ring here, measures 12 inches. And then, of course, we have our little dangle section, which is about 4 inches. Of course, you could go up higher if you wanted to, but I like it just like that, so it just dangles on the side. So the whole necklace, so from the top of the chain to the very tip here, measures 14 inches. Okay, well, you guys let me know what you think. And please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.